So this team, unfortunately for their fans, did fall in the lottery, and yeah, it's probably not a good day for them, but that's the Houston Rockets. They just, again, went from, I believe, the second highest odds or so to pick 4. So it's not what the hell? I don't know if you guys can hear that in the background, but my dog's just had an absolute seizure on the couch. Nikita, shut up. Anyway, moving on. The Houston Rockets, yeah, they fell about 2 spots or whatever. Not exactly that great, but hey, it's not the worst thing that can happen. It so happens to be that I think there's actually a perfect player for them to potentially select at this pick anyway. So definitely not all sunshine and rainbows, just maybe sunshine. If the pick pans out like I hope it will be, maybe some rainbows on top of that. But again, before we get into who I think they should select, if you haven't not gone already, please check out my full 2023 NBA mock draft, which will of course be linked in the description down below. That way, if you're wondering why I didn't take a certain player and whatnot with this pick, it might have just been because I've already taken him with a higher pick to a different team. So go and check that out, which I'll be linking in the description down below. Again, as well, you'll be all up to date if you do that as well. But yeah, I guess without further ado, here's who I think the Houston Rockets should of course be selecting with the 4th overall pick in the 2023 NBA draft. Now with pick 4, the Houston Rockets did get this pick. Again, they fell somewhat in this draft, but I definitely don't think this is a bad decision or a bad luck really for this Raptors team. I really do think that, for this Rockets team, sorry, I don't think that they really got exactly too stuffed over by this, but that's why kind of, in my opinion, I do think they should be taking Amen Thompson with this 4th overall pick. I know some Rockets fans are, very not excited that they couldn't get Scoot Henderson, but I think Amen Thompson honestly fits this team as good as what Scoot Henderson was going to be. He is a guy who is 6'7", who can play point guard, can play shooting guard, and even switch onto the 3. A guy who is absolutely insane defensively and, kind of insanely athletic as well. He really does fit this team, I think, quite a bit. And you can honestly now move on from Kevin Porter Jr., which I expect the Rockets to maybe, of course, try and do. KPJ and Jalen Green, they don't work well together. You got 2 guards who just shoot the ball as soon as they get it. There's not really any playmaking between them at all. They're both very similar. It's just that Jalen Green does it at so much of a better level, and Kevin Porter Jr. is an extremely turnover the ball type of prone player who you just don't want to see be your starting point guard. And it's, I think, one of the reasons the Rockets have definitely, I think, failed almost because of this, and suffered is probably the better word. They've suffered by having those 2 players at their guards. And look, you can bring Kevin Porter Jr. off the bench. That's not a bad idea. You don't have to trade him necessarily, but bringing him off the bench, yeah, it's much better idea than potentially starting him. I genuinely believe, though, that Amen Thompson fits this team really, really perfectly because he's honestly just a much cool, calmer, collected guard than what Kevin Porter Jr. is. Again, his playmaking is not necessarily, A1 just yet, but to be honest, he's going to come into this team and his playmaking will probably almost already be better than what Kevin Porter Jr. already is in his first season. He's definitely not going to turn over the ball as much as what KPJ will. At least that's what I genuinely believe. And of course, I think he will be just much more calmer. And I think the offense will be much more steady than what it is right now. Because right now, it's just all over the place. And it's definitely not great. So I believe as well, at the time of making this video, Amen Thompson is, of course, averaging around 4 or so assists per game, which, again, he can definitely improve on in the NBA. But if we're going to see how he goes on this Rockets team, he definitely does bring in a lot of things that they, of course, need. And one of those big things is defense. This Houston Rockets team is, I'm pretty sure, by far and wide the worst defensive team like in the NBA. It is absolutely shocking. And switching Kevin Porter Jr. to be your backup point guard or trading him away and replacing him with Amen Thompson automatically like doubles the defense that was being put out on the floor. He's an extremely good perimeter guy who can really switch from 1 through 3 as well. Can almost do it all. Again, his offense is also really good. 3-point percentage, I think, could definitely use some work going into the NBA. But when we're looking at it right now, I think what makes him such a really good player is, yes, he's got decent scoring. But when I look at this guy, I'm like, this is one of the best defenders in this draft. He and his brother are exceptionally elite defenders going into this draft. They're extremely athletic, already have a ton of highly great athletic plays and dunk packages that is automatically going to translate to the NBA. Not just that, he looks calm and collected when possessing the ball, and look, his playmaking will definitely need some work, but there are players like Darius Garland who I believe average 4 or less assists per game before they got drafted, and we know DG is one of the best playmakers in the NBA right now, having like 2 seasons averaging around 8 assists per game. So there's no reason Amen Thompson couldn't come in and do this for this Houston Rockets team. Not just that, he brings in the much needed defense that this team doesn't have, and plus, he and Jalen Green are both 6'5" or taller as your guards, so it's going to be a pretty interesting dynamic, also extremely athletic. And if Amen Thompson's scoring converts to the NBA, which it might not straight away, but eventually will hopefully do, yeah, this guy's going to be a really, really good player. And I think this is an extremely good pick for the Houston Rockets. And I almost think I'm not saying he's better than Scoot Henderson, but I think he kind of brings in more than what the Houston Rockets need than what Scoot Henderson does. Again, I think that the Rockets are in so desperate need for this defense that Amen Thompson kind of does exactly that. So I'm really excited for the Houston Rockets, and I hope they do select his play, and I think it could be a really awesome fit for this team. But yeah, of course, if you haven't already, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. Comment your thoughts and opinions down below. Do you guys agree with my mock draft, or do you guys not? Of course, I would really like to know, who would you guys have maybe going different, and are you guys excited for your team to potentially select a player? What's going to be going on? Let me know all your thoughts and opinions down below. Of course, don't forget to subscribe to my IRL/vlog channel and my podcast and my gaming channel as well, which will all be linked in the description down below. But as I was saying, please make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.